Alright, let's be real. Hip hop and getting lit goes hand in hand. Rappers rap about popping bottles, rolling up, and turning up. But sometimes, they take it too far. We're talking about rappers so wasted, they couldn't even do their job. Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD had the game in a chokehold. A freestyle genius and a rock star at heart. His shows were legendary, his energy unstoppable. But on December 8th, 2019, he was too wasted to perform. Not just that night, ever again. Juice WRLD was on top of the world. He had just wrapped up his Death Race for Love tour and was set to headline Rolling Loud in LA a few days later. A performance that fans were counting down to. That night, he landed at Chicago's Midway Airport, stepping off of a private jet loaded with weed, codeine, and 70 pounds of marijuana. But that wasn't the real problem. The real problem was the pills. The feds had been tipped off by the pilot that Juice and his team were carrying drugs and firearms. As soon as they landed, federal agents rushed in. Panicked, Juice did something tragic. He swallowed multiple Percocets on the spot, trying to hide them. Minutes later, while standing in the hangar, Juice collapsed. He started convulsing, foaming at the mouth, suffering a massive seizure, as his team watched in horror. By the time paramedics arrived, he was still alive, but unresponsive. They rushed him to the hospital, but within an hour, he was pronounced dead at just 21 years old. Later toxicology reports confirmed what we all feared. Juice WRLD had overdosed on oxycodone and codeine. Juice WRLD was set to shut down Rolling Loud, but instead of the fans seeing him on stage, they woke up to the news of his sudden death. Eminem. Y'all know Eminem don't just slip on bars. He's been a lyrical machine his whole career. But back in 2005, during his worst years of popping pills, even the rap god had a night where he wasn't built to perform. It went down at a European tour stop, where M was supposed to kill the stage as usual, but fans noticed something was off. His energy, low. His delivery, sloppy. And his flow, all over the place. Instead of that rapid fire, flawless delivery, dude was forgetting words, coming in late on beats, and looking spaced out. At one point, he straight up stopped mid-verse, like he forgot what the hell he was doing. People in the front rows saw it first. His eyes were heavy, his movements sluggish, and the usual sharpness just wasn't there. It was like watching a boxer trying to fight in slow motion. After the tour wrapped up, M checked himself into rehab. His team put out statements about exhaustion, but everyone knew that wasn't what was going on. Years later, M admitted that he was deep in prescription pills at the time. Vicodin, Ambien, Valium, you name it. He said that he was popping up to 60 pills a day. Eminem came back stronger after getting clean. But those 2005 performances, that was the moment that folks realized that even the best rappers alive could get too wasted to spit. Birdman. When Birdman stepped on the stage in 2017, it wasn't even Birdman no more. That was a whole different person. Folks pulled up expecting a great performance, but what they got? A messy, slurred, stumbling version of the Cash Money CEO. It all went down at the club show in 2017, and from the jump, something was off. Birdman hit the mic slurring words, mumbling, and barely making sense. At one point, he tried talking to the crowd, but his words were all over the place. Nobody knew what he was saying. The DJ kept the beat running, hoping he'd snap back, but nah. Birdman was fading in real time. As the set went on, it got worse. He started leaning on the mic stand, eyes half closed, and his hype man had to keep him upright. The crowd was not feeling it. Folks started booing, shaking heads, and even laughing at how gone he was. Clips of the disaster hit the internet fast, and social media went wild. Some fans were concerned, saying he might be going through something. Others straight up clowning him, saying he looked like a grandpa who had too much Henny. Birdman never fully addressed it. He just kept moving like it never happened. But one thing's for sure, that night, his legacy took a hit. Oh, dirty bastard. ODB. Alright, let's be real. ODB was a wild card every time he touched the stage. But some nights, bro was straight up too fried to function. That wasn't just one incident. Dude had a whole career full of wasted performances. One of his most infamous moments went down in 1997 when Wu-Tang Clan hit the stage for a show in New York. The crowd was hype, waiting for the energy, But when ODB showed up, it was clear that he wasn't all there. Dude was staggering, slurring his words, and missing entire verses. His energy, erotic as hell. One second, he was trying to rap, and the next, he was just screaming random shit into the mic. At one point, he threw his shirt into the crowd, fell over, and got back up like nothing happened. The worst part, he kept stopping the show to ramble about completely unrelated things. Wu-Tang had to cover for him, with Method Man and RZA rapping his parts just to keep the performance from fully crashing. The audience was shocked, but not surprised. ODB was already known for being unpredictable, but this was just next level sloppy. Fans started talking about how he was either too high, too drunk, or both. In the days after, the story spread through hip-hop circles. Some said it was just ODB being ODB, others said that it was a sign of his downfall. But one thing was for sure, Wu-Tang was always rolling the dice with him. ODB had legendary moments, but that night in '97, that was when fans saw the difference between being wild and being wasted. Lil Jon being known to turn all the way up, but one night in Las Vegas, he went too hard on the shots, and it damn near took him out the game. It was 2011, and Lil Jon had a show at a Vegas nightclub. The perfect spot for his wild, crunk energy. But before the sets, dude was already on his 10th drink. By the time he hit the stage, it was clear that he was gone. His signature yeah and okay was dragged out, slurred, and he couldn't even stand up straight. At one point, he grabbed the mic and tried to hype up the crowd, but ended up spitting out a bunch of nonsense. Then came the moment nobody expected. Mid-performance, Lil Jon damn near face planted. Security had to catch him before he hit the stage floor. Instead of bouncing back, he leaned on the DJ booth, eyes rolling like he was trying to stay awake. Clips of the night hit Twitter and YouTube, with fans roasting him for being too turned to function. Some laughed it off, saying it's Vegas, what do you expect? Others were wondering if Crunk King was losing control. Lil Jon brushed it off, saying he just had too much fun. But insiders knew that this wasn't the first or last time that dude got too wasted before a show. Lil Peep. On November 15th, 2017, Lil Peep was supposed to perform at The Rock in Tucson, Arizona. Fans were already inside waiting for him to pop out, but behind the scenes, something has gone terribly wrong. Earlier that day, Peep had posted videos popping Xanax like candy, bragging that he took 6 pills already. He was chilling on his tour bus, laid back, looking out of it. But by 8:53 p.m., somebody went to check in on him and found him unresponsive. At first, they thought that he just passed out, but he wasn't waking up. Paramedics rushed in, but it was too late. Lil Peep was gone at just 21 years old. The concert never happened. Fans stood outside confused as word spread that Peep had overdosed in his dressing room. The official cause? A deadly mix of Xanax and fentanyl. His death shook the industry. Rappers like Post Malone, Lil Uzi Vert, and Travis Barker all spoke out, warning about the dangers of pills. But at the same time, it showed just how bad the culture of popping pills had gotten into hip-hop. Snoop Dogg. Snoop's been the undisputed weed king, but even he had a night where the smoke took over. It was 2012 in Amsterdam, the one place where Snoop might have overdone it. Before his set, he hit a blunt after blunt after blunt, getting in the zone. When the show started, everything seemed cool, until he forgot his own lyrics. Dude was so high, he started freestyling over his own songs, making up words as he went, but that didn't work. Then mid-performance, he stopped rapping, laughed, and told the DJ to just let the beat ride. Instead of finishing the show, Snoop just vibed out, letting the crowd do the work. Fans wasn't even mad, they just laughed it off like, bruh, it's Snoop, what do you expect? The internet turned it into a joke, but some folks said that he owed them a real performance. Snoop? He ain't apologized for nothing. He kept it real and said that that's just what happens sometimes. T-Pain. T-Pain got hits for days, but back in 2013, his drinking caught up to him on stage. Fans expected fire vocals, and instead they got a wasted mess. It went down during a club performance in Atlanta. T-Pain hit the stage looking wobbly, but at first, fans thought that he was just vibing. Then he grabbed the mic and the slurring started. Instead of smooth, auto-tuned vocals, bro was mumbling words, forgetting lyrics, and rambling between songs. The DJ tried keeping the energy up, but T-Pain was too far gone. At one point, he stumbled back, almost dropping his mic. Then came the worst part. He straight up sat on the stage mid-performance. Not a planned move, just leaned back like he needed a break. The crowd, confused. Some laughed, others started booing. Clips from the night hit social media, and the fans started calling him out. Some said it was a flop. Others said that he needed to chill on the drinks. T-Pain later admitted that his drinking was out of control around the time. He said that he'd been too drunk to hit the notes and it was messing up his whole career. Drake. This one wasn't sloppy. It was just straight awkward. Imagine going to a Lil Wayne concert, expecting fire performances, and then Drake shows up, looking wobbly as hell, giving an emotional speech out of nowhere. It was 2016 at a Lil Wayne show in Miami. Weezy had the crowd turned, doing his thing. Then out of nowhere, Drake crashes the stage. At first, folks thought it was just a surprise cameo, but something was off. Drizzy was moving funny, talking slow, and had that one too many shots energy. Then he grabs the mic and started rambling. He went on full drunk uncle speech mode, talking about how Wayne was the greatest rapper of all time, how he owed his career to him, and how much he loved him. The words dragged out, and he kept repeating himself, and folks in the audience started looking at each other like, "Alright, what's this?" Social media tore him up. Clips from the night started circulating, and people started calling it Drake's Kanye at the VMAs moment. Some fans defended him, saying that he was just showing love to Wayne. Others, they was roasting him. Drizzy never addressed it, but folks still bring it up as that one time Drake stepped out on stage, acting wobbly, emotional, and offbeat. Chief Keef. Yeah, I know Sosa don't do too much talking, but in 2018, bro barely did any performing either. One night in Iowa, fans pulled up expecting bangers, but all they got was a faded Keef fumbling through a mess of the set. It was a club show in Des Moines, and the hype was real. Chief Keef had just dropped some heat, and folks were ready. But when he finally hit the stage, the energy was not there. First off, bro was moving slow, like his body couldn't keep up with his mind. Then, when he started rapping, lyrics were missing. Not just here and there, full verses, just gone. He was mumbling, off beat, and at times, he just stopped mid-sentence. It got worse. At one point, he straight up turned his back to the crowd, swaying side to side like he was just somewhere else entirely. Security had to step in, guiding him back to the mic. But by then, the crowd was over it. Videos hit the internet quick, and the reactions, brutal. Fans were saying it was one of the worst performances they have ever seen, with some even demanding refunds. Keef, he ain't explained nothing. He just kept it moving like it never even happened. But that night became one of the most infamous too gone to rap moments of his career. Finally rich? Maybe. But that night, he was just too high. J.DaYoungan. J.DaYoungan had a fast rise and a wild lifestyle. But one night in 2019, he pulled up to a show so gone he barely made it through the song. It went down at the club in Louisiana, and fans were hyped to see J.DaYoungan live. But when he hit the stage, it was bad. Dude looked lost from the start. His movements were slow, his eyes half closed, and when he grabbed the mic, he couldn't keep up with his own lyrics. Instead of rapping, he was mumbling, missing lines, and just standing there like he forgot where he was. Halfway through his set, he turned his back to the crowd and started talking to himself. The DJ tried to hype him up, but bro was too zoned out. Then, out of nowhere, he just walked off stage, mid-song. Fans were shocked, security were scrambling, and within minutes, it was clear J.DaYoungan was too wasted to finish. Clips hit Twitter and Instagram, and the comments, brutal. People was clowning him for showing up too high to rap. while others were worried about how bad he was looking. Jaydayoungan never addressed it, but later that year, he got locked up on drug charges, a sign that his lifestyle was catching up fast. Jaydayoungan had talent, but that night, the only thing he performed was an exit. Gucci Mane. Gucci been through hell and back with his addiction, but back in 2013, before he cleaned up, dude was spiraling fast, and it showed on stage. It was supposed to be a hype night in Atlanta, but when Gucci pulled up, it was clear that this wasn't going to go well. He was stumbling from the start, eyes low, speech slurred. He tried performing Lemonade, but the words jumbled. He wasn't just off beat, he was barely forming any sentences. Then, he started talking crazy, cussing out his own DJ, mumbling about how nobody was loyal. Fans started getting restless, but instead of getting back on track, Gucci snapped. Out of nowhere, he threw his mic, walked up to the front of the stage, and started talking reckless to the audience. People were shocked. Security was on edge, and within minutes, Gucci stormed off, ending the show early. The next morning, Gucci went on a Twitter rant, calling out damn near every rapper in the game, even his own friends. That week, he got arrested for disorderly conduct, and a few days later, locked up again for gun possession. The streets knew that Gucci was losing control. That night in Atlanta was one of the last times that old Gucci touched the stage. Months later, he got sentenced, and when he came back, he was a whole different person. But in 2013, he was just too gone to function. Future. Future been rapping about lean, perks, and the trap life for years. But one night in 2017, it wasn't just the lyrics. Bro was too deep into the cup to even make it through his own set. It went down in Brooklyn, New York, a packed out show where fans expected a legendary performance. But when Future hit the stage, something was off. He started one song late, missing his own cue, then came in off beat as hell. The energy, barely there. Instead of bouncing across the stage with his usual rock star vibe, bro was dragging his feet, staring blankly at the crowd like his mind was somewhere else. Halfway through March Madness, he just stopped rapping for no reason. The beat was still running, but Future, he was just standing there, swaying, looking stuck. The DJ tried hyping him back up, but he was zoned out, holding the mic like he forgot what to do next. A few minutes later, he walked off stage, leaving fans confused as hell. No explanation, no goodbye, just gone. Social media went crazy, with fans debating whether he was too high or just too exhausted. Some said that he was on autopilot. Others straight up accused him of being on one too many perks. Future never addressed it, but just months later he admitted in an interview that he used to fake drinking lean just to keep up his image. So was he really too high that night? Or was his body just burnt out from the lifestyle? Future, known for making hits, but that night in Brooklyn, the only thing he made was an awkward exit. Mac Miller. Mac Miller's talent was undeniable, but by 2016, the drugs were starting to take a toll. One show in New York, it was hard to watch. Mac was performing at a festival in NYC, but from the jump, he looked off. Fans could tell that something wasn't right. His eyes were heavy, his movements slow, and when he grabbed the mic, his voice was shaky. As the set went on, his energy dropped. He was missing lines, dragging words, and at one point, he just stared into the crowd, looking lost. Midway through the show, he stumbled and had to lean on the DJ booth for balance. Fans in the front row looked worried. They knew that Mac was struggling with addiction, and his performance, it showed. Fans and the media took notice. Some defended him, saying that he was just exhausted, but others knew the truth. Sadly, in 2018, Mac Miller passed away from an overdose, one of hip-hop's most heartbreaking losses. Looking back, that NYC show was a warning sign. Mac's legacy is forever, but those performances near the end, they were reminders that even the brightest stars can fade too soon. DMX. DMX was hip-hop's rawest voice, but that same energy, it came with demons. X had plenty of nights where he was too gone to perform, but one of the most heartbreaking happened in 2011. It was a show in Greenville, South Carolina. The crowd was hype, ready for the classic DMX performance, Gritty, intense, legendary. But when X hit the stage, it was clear that something was off. From the jump, he was rambling, talking more than rapping. He kept pacing back and forth, sweating like crazy, forgetting lyrics, and at times just started staring at the crowd, like he was somewhere else. At one point, he tried to get through Rough Riders' anthem, but he couldn't stay on beat. The DJ had to restart the track twice. Instead of rapping, he started praying mid-set. The crowd was confused. Some was cheering, but others was just like, yo, what's happening? Footage hit the internet quick. People felt bad, knowing he had been battling addiction. But at the same time, fans couldn't ignore how hard it was to watch. After the show, DMX admitted that he was struggling, saying, "I ain't where I need to be, but I'm still fighting." It was one of those moments where hip-hop had to face the ugly side of fame. DMX wasn't just a rapper that night. He was a man fighting his demons in front of everybody. DMX bounced back plenty of times, but that 2011 show, that was one of the nights where the darkness was louder than the music. Fredo Santana. Fredo Santana had an entire career of moments where drugs took over. The most heartbreaking part, one of his last performances ever showed just how bad it had gotten. Fredo had been battling lean addiction for years, and by 2017, it was catching up to him. He showed up to the show in Los Angeles looking rough, face swollen, eyes droopy, body moving slow. Fans could tell from the moment that he stepped on stage that this wasn't the same Fredo. His voice was hoarse, his delivery was slurred, and the confidence that he had, gone. At one point, he tried performing Jealous, but halfway through, he started losing balance. The hype man tried to keep the energy up, but Fredo was too out of it to finish strong. Fans left the venue worried, not laughing. Social media started buzzing with concerned messages, with folks telling him to slow down on the lean. Sadly, just a few months later, Fredo was gone. In January of 2018, he passed away from a seizure, a direct result of his addiction. That last performance wasn't just another bad show, it was a warning sign. And in the end, Fredo became another name on the list of rappers who didn't get the chance to clean up before it was too late. Pimp C. Pimp C was a southern rap icon, but the same thing that he rapped about, it ended up taking his life. In 2007, Pimp C was supposed to hit the stage for a big performance in LA, but in the days leading up to the show, his health was on the decline. The UGK legend had been sipping lean for years, but it was catching up to him. Friends noticed that he was moving slow, slurring his words even off stage. Then one morning, before a scheduled event, Pimp C never woke up. He was just found dead in his hotel room, and when the toxicology report came back, it was codeine and promethazine, the same drink he made famous in his music. The news hit the South like a gut punch. UGK was legendary, and to lose one half of the duo so suddenly, nobody was ready for that. Rappers from Bun B to Lil Wayne paid tribute, but at the same time, folks started re-evaluating lean culture in hip-hop. Pimp C's legacy is forever, but lean took him too soon. The show never happened, the mic stayed untouched, and hip-hop lost one of its greatest storytellers. Rick Ross. Rick Ross always moved like a boss, but back in 2011, his fast life caught up to him. That year, Rose had a show lined up, but never made it. Ross was supposed to perform in Memphis, but before he even touched the stage, he had a seizure mid-flight. The private jet had to make an emergency landing, and when paramedics rushed in, he was unconscious. At first, folks thought it was just exhaustion, but the truth, Ross had been sipping lean heavy, and his body was breaking down. Even crazier, after getting medical attention, bro got back on another flight and had another seizure. They had to land the plane a second time, and doctors told him that he needed to stop everything right now. Fans were shocked. Ross was one of the biggest names in rap at the time, and suddenly, his health was in serious danger. Some blamed the heavy drinking, the lean, the stress, but one thing was clear: he had to slow down. After this, Rose made major changes. He lost a bit of weight, cleaned up his habits, and cut back on some of the stuff that almost took him out. Rick Ross bounced back, but that 2011 night proved even the biggest bosses ain't untouchable. And for real, that was the closest he had ever came to losing it all. Yin Yang Twins, Kane. Kane wasn't just tipsy, he was on another planet. The Yin Yang Twins been known for wild performances, but in 2015, at one show in Missouri, Kane wasn't turning up with the crowd. He was fading out in front of them. The group was booked to hype up a packed club, but the moment that Kane hit the stage, something was off. He was stumbling, mumbling, and barely keeping up with his own lyrics. Every time he tried to move, he damn near lost his balance. It got worse. Midway through the set, he dropped his mic and had to be physically held up by a security guard. The crowd, expecting that signature crunk energy, was standing there confused as hell. People started whispering, some laughing, some recording. Then, he had to be carried off stage, not walked off, carried. Video footage hit TMZ and it was spread fast. Fans were divided. Some were concerned, saying it might be a health issue, while others were clowning him for being too wasted to finish the show. A few days later, the group's rep tried to downplay the situation, saying Kane was just dehydrated. But let's be real, bro wasn't really just thirsty. That Missouri show was supposed to be lit, but Kane was too gone to keep up. The group kept touring, but fans ain't forget how one half of the duo had to be escorted off stage like a drunk uncle at a wedding. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne been calling himself Tucci for years, but this one night, bro was in a whole different tune. If you ever wonder what too much lean could do to a legend, look no further than that 2013 show in Milan. Lil Wayne was in Italy, and fans were expecting him to bring that Carter energy. But when he stepped onto the stage, it was immediately clear that something was off. His voice was hoarse, his movements were slow, and when he tried to rap, he was just mumbling his lyrics. At one point, he straight up forgot what song he was doing and had to look at his DJ for help. Then, dude just sat down on stage. Not like a planned move, like his legs just gave out. Fans were shocked, watching him rock back and forth, looking completely zoned out. After struggling through another couple songs, he walked off stage early, leaving the crowd confused and disappointed. Social media lit up immediately. Fans were calling him out, saying that he needed to lay off the lean, but others were genuinely worried about his health. Wayne though, he ain't say nothing. He just kept it moving like the whole thing never happened. Lil Wayne's legacy is locked in, but that night in Milan, that was proof that even the biggest rock stars in rap ain't untouchable when it comes to getting too faded.